Okay, is everyone ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Go.
Um, Today we are reviewing Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas, as no surprise to anyone. Um, and we have the squad here. So, yeah, we can go into our ratings and reviews. And I'll start this time, because I never do. I give this one a 3.5 out of 5. And 0 chili peppers. So, when I read for, oh my god, I just had a stroke. When I first read this book, I kind of feel the same as I do now. I didn't have much of an emotional attachment to this book. First and foremost, just because the first quarter, like, Kale's behavior really just, like, rubbed me the wrong way in this book, which was her intention. So I understand that now, but when I don't know, just every time I read it, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I have to deal with this man right now, and it just almost ruined it for me each time. But and other than that, it was very slow, kind of hard to get into until you get to the second half of it. That's when it really starts to pick up, and she does introduce new characters, which is cool. It just does a lot of story building, which has a purpose. It's just after going through action after action after action, every other book, going to this where it was very, I wouldn't say political, but just like schemy, and everybody just building their stories was just like, ugh, kind of don't want that. But it wasn't a terrible book. It was okay. And the ending makes me cry, like every other one, so. Yep.
So, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I gave it 1 chili pepper because it was very scandalous. And yes, I would recommend it. I said it was a whirlwind, especially like Megan said, when you get into that second part. I just kept flipping the pages because it was just action-packed, that second part. I really like that a lot of characters came back because I feel like they had stories that were unfinished. And I feel like so much more detail was explained about the past and also forged for a future. So I really liked how those characters came back. I think that Selena Aylin, I think she had such a transformation and probably had the most growth, in my opinion, in this book. I think also Manon had enormous growth, and she's really truly seeing what she wants in her life, so that was really exciting to read. Of course, the intense magic scenes did not disappoint. I could picture everything in such strong detail. Going from, the dance scene where she helped get her cousin back, from the ending scene. It was just so much imagery in my mind while reading, and I really enjoyed that. So, I'm excited to continue reading, and I love that Abraxos loves his wildflowers. That brought me a smile every time. It was a great read.
So, for Spice, I gave it a 1 out of 5. For the book itself, I have to say that this was probably my least favorite book in the entire series so far. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. It was just, again, like Megan and both Kimmy said, very slow. I know that it was to, like, build the storyline, and introduce characters like a lead and different characters like that, but I could have dealt with, like, only the second half of the book and been happy, because once I hit the second half, like, I didn't want to put it down. It definitely threw some curveballs at me emotionally, in the typical Sarah J. Maas fashion. And she continuously surprised me, especially towards the end. And like Kimmy said, like all of her imagery, like I don't understand how she thought of writing, how she wrote her books, but it's just like beautiful how those words can just like completely describe what, and I can just see it in my mind. It's just insane. And then she definitely in this book made me fall in love with newer characters, more so than characters that I've been introduced to in the past. So I am very excited to read the next book and see how the series is going to continue on. And kind of going off of what Megan said, the ending definitely got me this time. And I cried. So overall, the second half of the book definitely enjoyed. First half of the book, I could have, skimmed it.
I'll go next. I would give this book a 4 out of 5. In terms of spice, I give it 0.5 out of 5 chili peppers. Completely agree. Basically, what everybody's going to say. That beginning part of that book is a little bit hard to get through. I didn't feel like it was extremely boring, though. Like, I was able to kind of keep going and understood what was going to happen, like what the build up was going to be, and I couldn't wait till I got to that part. And then once you get to middle of the book, even before it switched into part 2, that's where I was like kind of hooked after that, and I just wanted to keep reading. Second part, definitely the best part of the book. Lots of moments where I was like saying out loud like, oh shit, and okay, well, I didn't realize that was coming, and just really putting my faith in her at this point, because she knows how to build a story, and then she knows how to make you have these huge reveals and reactions towards the end. I had a combination of reading the book and with the audiobook this time around, so the romances this time just really gave me the ick. I can't stand that. They were obsessing over the scents of everybody. That just drove me nuts. So I think it just sounds worse when you're listening to it in audio than if you're just reading it in your head. So I feel like that's probably why it ruined it for me.
Agree.
Romance-wise.
Okay, I guess I'm last, and I really agree with like everything everyone's saying, but especially Christy and Bree. The first half of the book was so hard for me to get through. I was so utterly bored, and this is gonna sound harsh. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me take a step back. I gave it overall a 3, and then Spice a 0.5. But yeah, I honestly felt like the first half of the book could have been like an email. I feel like we truly didn't need it, and then the later half of the book I was eating up, especially the last 100 pages. But it was really hard for me to get through, and that's surprising to me, especially being like I read a couple other books prior to this, and I was procrastinating because I just didn't want to read it. But yeah, I loved the imagery of that. I loved the action that we got in the second half of the book, and like I understand that we had to set the stage and set the plot and understand all the different like angles of what's going on for the climax of the large battle at the end and everything with Dorian. But if like the last 100 pages weren't as good as they were, I would have probably rated it lower. I honestly was not very like enthralled with this book as much as other ones, so I was surprised, but I am looking forward to the next one. I'm kind of just like putting this one behind me and just moving on to the next one, despite all of everything that we went through. So like there was definitely some great scenes. I definitely tapped some little quirks and some new favorite characters that I'm glad that we got to meet, but I just feel like this book could have been like 200 pages less and I still would have gotten the same experience out of it.
Okay. Did everybody go?
Yep.
I think so.
Yeah, I feel like this one, the one thing that I did notice with this book was like, she over explained a lot of things. Like, I don't know, for example, it was like a whole page of how the dungeon smelled with the witches in it or something like that. And I was like, I don't fucking care. Like, there were multiple spots like that I just, I physically can't. Like,
A big thing with me was pacing, and I felt like I actually wrote this on my notes. I felt like it was many filler episodes in an
Yeah.
anime because, like, I feel like at nighttime they were going to Valge nests. I get it. You don't have to tell me every single night.
yeah. Yeah, it was sorry, go ahead.
It was like with like the little short chapters too about Dorian and how he was like feeling on the inside. I got it after like the first 2 times.
Yeah.
And it just kept repeating, and I'm like, why is she repeating so often with just like these little filler short chapters? Which I don't even want to call it a chapter. It was like a half a page.
Yeah,
I get it. You wanted her to kill you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, get it after the second or third time.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like she was like, her publisher was like, you have to get a certain word count, and that's what this book was. Like not to be in a mean way, but I just feel like there were a lot of things like, so as someone who's finished the series, there are a lot of things in this book. 80% of this book is knowledge that you need to know for the rest of the series. Yes, but it was just like, there wasn't like a good balance of info dumping and then action, info dumping and then something sad, you know what I mean? Like, it was, she gave us a lot of info dumping, and then she got to Arabin dying, and then she gave us a whole 10, 15 more chapters of info dumping. So I'm like, it didn't balance out well.
Yeah, I even forgot that happened in this book.
Exactly. So it's like,
Probably just because of the end of the book.
well, yeah. And there was just so much ahead of it. There was so much info ahead of it that's just like, it was just a lot of scheming on the characters' parts to get where they needed to get. So I do understand the process, but it was like a very painful process to get
I did
through.
like the intertwining of the stories to like finally realize like a lead in how she
It's
fit in.
connected, yeah.
Yeah, like that to me I really enjoyed, like finally getting those connections.
Oh yeah,
Obviously,
when she does
like,
that,
with Nana
yeah.
and stuff. But other than that, like I said, the first half of the book I could have lived without, not even knowing any of it.
Yeah, like I said, when I read this the first time, I didn't remember what happened. I read it the second time, it's kind of just like fading away. It just doesn't, it didn't hold my attention. But I do think the end of the book does outweigh the cons of it being very slow. Like, the end of the book was fantastic, so it does outweigh that fact that it's not a horrible book. Like, if the end, like Becca said, if the ending wasn't what it was, it would be rated very much lower.
The ending saved the book for me.
Yeah.
Like the last 50 pages, if she didn't write it like that, I honestly probably would have DNF'd it.
Yeah.
I was not about this book. But I don't mean to detract. You mentioned Arabin, Megan, and when I read that section, I was like, I need to know what Kimmy thinks because
she's been hoping for it.
I was like, I need to know your response, like how you reacted, because I know that you have been gunning for him.
I gotta say, I strangely enough admired his conniving ways because it was so well written to hate him even more. And that Lysandra got to do it was amazing. And I felt like I could have actually got more pages of like in detail death of him dying.
She's like, I need more pain.
Yep.
Right. I felt like it wasn't like justifiable.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
He should be tortured for
He
like a
deserved
few
worse.
days.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
Days, months, years.
Forever.
Yeah. But the way she wrote his character in the first part of the book, it just made you hate him so much more, but also like, how is he that good? And then when the whole plan was being set up, I was like, oh, this is amazing. But real quick, when he slipped the ring on her finger, I was like,
yeah. Yeah.
oh
and
yeah.
then 2 pages later, I was like, ooh, bamboozle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was listening
not
to the
expect
audiobook at that point in my car, and that's when I screamed, "Motherfucker!" like out loud. and then afterwards, it's like, but she didn't know she was pretending. I was like, "Oh, thank God,
Yeah.
Lord
Yeah.
have mercy."
I
And
think
then
I like
Yeah, that
actually
was
like lost my breath at that point. I was like,
Yeah.
Yes.
"Oh."
right, we
I was
all
like, there's no way
gasped.
that the story's gonna go like this.
Imagine, holy shit, that would be fucking great if it did.
Christy, that
Yeah,
is what I
that
thought though, because I was like, oh my gosh, there's still like 400 pages left.
And
That's
there's
what I was
still
like,
4
there's
more
no way that
books.
this is where like it goes.
Add 4 more books, right?
Yeah.
Like,
That'd be
or
great.
3, sorry.
So then I guess we could segue into our favorite character. I'll start because mine is, I don't know if mine's different, but
Mine's Manon.
no, that's Kimmy's. I can't steal
I
Kimmy's.
switched it up now.
Oh, is it who I think it is? All right, I'll say mine.
I think I could guess. Who
I'll
it
say
is.
mine. Mine's Lysandra. I knew it was
I
gonna
knew
be
it.
she it's gonna be no surprise. So this isn't a spoiler of any kind, but from here on out, she plays a big role in the rest of the books, as she played a huge role in this book. I just admire her character to be so selfless as to take on more debt and to never be free to save a little girl. Time and time again, to just only think about this little girl who she can only see herself as, and she doesn't even know what she looks like anymore. And she sees herself in this little girl to save her. And I think that is so cool. And I just love her magic. It's so fucking cool. I love that Aelin was like, oh yeah, we have these things in the mountain called ghost leopards that steal our sheep. She had no clue what they were, and then she changed into one and scared the shit out of Adian. And I thought that was the most brilliant thing ever. But yeah, no, that's my homegirl. I love her.
I definitely like towards the end of the book her playfulness, especially with Adian. I was like, this is gonna continue into the next books, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, from, the beginning where she showed up with a child, I was like, okay, now you're pulling on a heartstring of mine. And then...
Right, a
and
little
then
blonde
just-
girl, you're like, oh, man.
Well, right. And, like, I was just like, she's just being so selfless right now. And just coming clean and, like, really... I loved it so much. And like you were saying, when they said about the shape-shifting, I was like, that's it. That is my favorite thing I've heard so far. Fire, ice, all this stuff. No, shape-shifting, amazing. Every interaction, though, that Lysandra was in, I had to read it like twice because I loved it so much. And I really loved the connection she built with Aelin, so.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna say. Oh, sorry. Were you gonna say something else?
I was just chuckling because just thinking about the book.
I was gonna say ditto to everything. Lysandra definitely
Yeah.
ran up the ranks for me, but I do want to give an honorable mention to Caltaine. I think
Yeah.
I really wanted more, like how Christy was mentioning those couple paragraphs of Dorian. I wanted to get her perspective as well. Like the fact that she just went off at the end and just took Morath down. And also that
Naked,
she
by
had
the
just been
way.
naked and she had
Yup.
been acting and playing everyone for months.
Mm-hmm.
Like even back when they were in the dungeons together, I really liked just like her spirit. Like even though Selena at the time didn't like her, Caltaine is like, I'm going to be a duchess, lordess, whatever, and you're all going to cower beneath me. And sure enough, that happened. So as cool as Lysandra was, and she got more screen time and everything, like we were mentioning, like she didn't mind being indebted for the next 10 years. Like she and Aelin like bonded over Arabin's death and realized that they were just both pawns in the games that he likes to play. I really liked Caltaine and wish we got more from her. I'm kind of upset because now she's blown up.
Sure is.
Ripperino.
Mhm.
I think I was... Go ahead.
Oh no, that was it.
I think I was just going to say, I feel satisfied, though, with how Caltaine ended, because she literally gave everything. And I read that part probably 3 times because it was the imagery that I was just imagining happening while she was doing this naked, was just amazing. So I think even though that she didn't get, all that screen time that would have been really cool to hear, I think how her character came to be and ended was really well written.
Yeah, she did what she had to do, and it was enough, pretty much.
Oh yeah, and she
Yeah.
literally went out and took everyone down with her. And for
Yeah.
any Naruto watchers, I was imagining like Amaterasu with her.
Yeah, that's how I
power.
picture her black flames. Yeah, that's how
Yeah.
I picture it. Yep.
So it was just like the imagery that we're talking about again. Like she, it was just like she walked up to the guards, she walked up to the cradles, the doors. I was like so enthralled. So she definitely second best for the newer characters.
Oh yeah.
So, I definitely, like Becca, say ditto to everything about Lysandra and Kane, but for me, I can never say her name right. Asterian?
Astrid.
There we go. She was also at the top of my list this time around, about hearing about her story and the witchling and falling in love with I think he was immortal.
Yeah, it was a woodsman.
It made me fall more in love with the witches, and gave me a different I guess respect for them, because before I was like, oh, they're just like these evil witches and they're just going to be used as weapons, which they were. But once her and Manon started getting that kill, obey, whatever it is out of them, I was like, yes, this is what I want. Let's revolt. And
yeah,
let's stand for morals and stuff. That really made me respect them more and also love them more.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, her story was heartbreaking.
Yeah, I try not to think of that one. That one's too hard for me.
Yeah, I connected with that one, so it meant a lot to me to even shed light on something like that in her story.
Yeah, I mean, those are the best kind of characters alike, are the ones that you, understand and can relate to, so I get it. Briarino, it's your turn.
I feel like everyone's gonna hate me for my choice.
Oh, here
I'd
we
like
go.
to say
Let the record show.
I like all of these characters, and I don't necessarily feel like I have a certain connection with one, in terms of relating or anything like that. But since day one, everybody has known I am on the Kale train, and I think that still holds.
How did I know that was coming?
I knew it was
brother!
I
was gonna say
so
right off rip, don't say Kale.
Oh
I knew
my
she was
god!
gonna say, because what'd you say? You said don't hate me for this. I was
Yeah,
like,
I knew it.
Defends the Kale.
God.
He tilted me so much.
It was just the first quarter. It was just the first quarter.
I was mad at the first quarter, but I feel like I could understand. He is a man who just literally lost everything. What he stood for as being, his title. He's a traitor now. He left Dorian. He has all that guilt. Then for Selena to come back and then not to see that ring and everything there, he was just angry. He's self-loathing. And I feel like Selena or Aelin and him are so similar in that way. So that's why when I got to that chapter when they were both talking to each other and finally being all right, I'm not really mad at you anymore. I'm sorry I said this and I'm sorry I said that, because it was all just in just with everything that had been going on with them. It was just part of both of their self-loathing. Aelin hated herself, he hated himself, and they were coming together. Not only that, I like that Kale is not perfect. I think it drives me nuts when you have this character who is just constantly perfect all the time and always does the right thing. I feel like Kale is a true representation, even when you think about when you're playing D&D and you have a character with a flaw and that character is going to act on that flaw. That's Kale. Kale is loyal and he is very honorable, and that's what he sticks to, and that had caused him to be astray, and now he's kind of realigned, and that has completely changed for him. So that's why I really like him, and I was finally so happy because I was like, don't make me fucking hate you. Just like apologize. Like, this is not you. I understand. And even in the end, I still love him, even if
He ain't got no legs.
him and Aelin aren't together. Yeah,
That was
don't even
low,
get me
Megan.
started. It was just like, they're like, oh, that you had a fracture. I was like, no!
I can't feel my legs.
I'm crying. I was like, no, not my boy.
Lieutenant Dan.
Even
think
if he's
it's
not.
Go ahead, Brie. Go ahead.
Sorry. Even if he's not like in a romantic relationship with Aelin, I don't even care about that. Like, it doesn't even bother me. Like, I truly like Kale for like his character alone. And my second top would be Manon. I love how bitchy she is. I love how tough she is. Like, I just love that. And I like that she had like a code too.
Yeah.
I'm so proud that she had a lot of growth towards the end, and she's like, change is upon us. Like, she's ready for it. I'm ready for it. So, of course, Manon still has a place in my heart.
Yeah.
That's my top two right now. I just love him so much.
When she stopped doing the whole brutality thing, and I think it was Astrid that was like, man, it's like, oh, this is the way you've always done it, and she's like, we need to change. It gets boring if we don't. I was like, hell yeah, like the new generation.
Yep.
I wonder if she's gonna have like some like fight with her grandma.
Oh, definitely.
That's gonna be.
I hope she kills her grandmother. Jeez.
Good God.
Take her right. Full place of the throne.
So that's a good segue into what character did we dislike the most?
That's a hard question.
Yeah, and I was gonna answer this. I was actually just thinking about it. I'm gonna answer this weirdly. I don't think I have one at all, because the characters in play that are the evil characters, like the matron, Erwin, Maeve, like these characters, like they're just evil. Like, they're just evil characters. Like, there's not, like, the king, we were saying in the beginning, like, oh, fuck the king, but it turns out it was, like, it was never the king's fault. It was never the king, so it's, like, I don't have one I dislike because they're all just dicks. Like, I don't have one that I hate because I know that they're just hateful characters. I don't know, I feel like that doesn't make any sense, but,
No, it does.
because it's, like, they're gonna have their mission. Like, the matron has her mission to create these weapons, and Erwin has his mission to have a new world order and suck people's souls out or some shit. Like, it's just, they have their missions, and the king is like, he wasn't even on my list in this book, because I always felt like there was something off about him, and then when we got what we got at the end, it was just like, okay, I can't hate this guy. And same thing, like Kimmy had said earlier about Arabin, is like, she tries to write it to make you hate him, but it's like, damn, this guy is just so smart and knows what he's doing, even if it's a horrible thing he's doing. It's like, I can't hate him in this moment because he's, like, charming.
It's so clever.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Like, I enjoyed reading his craziness and his thoughts, even though I hate what he does to people.
Like, sending almond oil to rub on her skin, that's fucking foul. But, like, that was the funniest thing he could have done. That was the funniest thing he could have done in that moment. He couldn't have been like, oh, here's some nice shoes to wear. He's like, no, put this oil on your naked body. Like, that is just so foul and comical at the same time. Like, you can't get mad at that for some reason. You just can't.
I think if I had to use anybody, it'd be him.
Oh, sorry. I talked over someone.
Okay, you're good.
I agree, Megan, like with everything that you're saying, but I do actually really dislike one character.
Yeah, go for it.
And that is Sir Parrington, or whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah.
Fucking Erewhon, whatever the hell. I can't. I guess him and Vernon, whatever. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Vernon. Yeah, I forgot that
piece
fucking
of
weasel.
shit.
Yeah.
Those two, they can go kick rocks together with no shoes.
With no shoes.
And then when the poor king at the end, not really, but when he's like, in that his state of like trying to like tell them everything, and he's saying that these people actually did it. It just was like, oh my god, it made me hate them even more.
Yeah, it makes you hate
I mean,
them,
he's
not
the
him.
king,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I still hate.
I still hate him.
I was like, you got what you deserve, bitch. I was so
yeah.
upset.
I felt so bad because it's like I feel for Dorian, who's like he can only feel hatred because that's all he's known. He hasn't known his dad as a caring figure, but it's like to hear that like he got rid of magic because he was doing it to protect, mainly to protect Dorian because he knew he had magic, and that he went to Terrasen to have an 8-year-old Aelin to plead for her to kill him. It's like that's
Right.
so tragic, like, and then to not die, and then to just sit there in a subconscious feeling for how many 10 years. It's like, oh my god.
For a while, I was like, is this all a clever ruse? Like, when he was
Yeah.
going, I was reading, like, the first paragraph and the second. I'm like, is this guy just trying to, like, play at the heartstrings, like, one last attempt to try and trick them?
He's like, oh, psych, and then fireballs him.
That's what I thought. I was like so ready for it. I was like, they're all gonna die. Like, it's just gonna be a bunch of people dead everywhere. And
The pages were dwindling, and
Yeah, I didn't believe it.
He's just trying to buy time. I was so stressed. When the last 100 pages was stressful. I was like, Rowan's gonna lose his leg. Aiden's gonna get his head chopped off. Lorcan.
Jeez, we're just going different routes here. My gosh.
I was just like, I've just
Preparing.
been burned so many times. Exactly. Like if you don't ever have your hopes up, you can't get disappointed, right?
I mean, it's fair. I feel like I heard that in a Spider-Man movie.
oh god.
Go on. Brie, I want to hear who you didn't like the most.
I feel like I'd have to go with Erebrin, but that's just because of how gross he was. Like I was so disgusted by him. Like he's just a true predator, and I couldn't with him.
Predator.
He really is. He's disgusting. And then like once he was like, "Tell me you love me" and all this stuff, I'm like, bro, didn't we just, I don't know, stab you right now? Like I just need you to blow up into pieces or something. You need to not exist.
That part where he was like, you look, what did he say? Like, you look better in that dress than you did a couple years ago or something like that. I was like, oh,
yeah, you filled
no,
it.
you filled in that dress. Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking puke.
Oh, no. Not
Yeah,
that.
no, he is just such a predator. He's on the list.
He's
What are
on
those people
multiple
called
lists.
groomers.
Groomers, yeah, he's
Yeah,
for sure
he's a
the
groomer.
original.
God.
The OG groomer.
Yeah. Kimmy, did you say yours?
No, I mean, like you said, they all are very wicked, and they have their own plans that they're trying to attempt, I guess, to just throw it in the ring. I really don't like the witch grandma.
The matron.
I just think,
Killer.
yeah, I just think like her
Killer.
agenda is terrible. Just saying like, oh yeah, I'm sending you here to like, you're just gonna get fucked up and you can't do anything about it, and it just, she's shitty. So
She sure is.
Agreed.
Okay. So how did we feel about the ending? Did we feel satisfied? Did we feel there could have been more, could have been less? What do we because I know in Air of Fire we expressed that we kind of wish the endings of the different perspectives were in different order. So do we feel that we like the ending of this one?
I guess I'll go first because I think I was talking about the order and how, like, the back and forth was really bothering me last book.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I felt like this was so much better because now it's like the stories were tied. It wasn't like two separate things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
They were all kind of related at this point. So I actually really liked the ending. Definitely took me for a whirlwind of emotions. I'm sobbing, not because I'm sad. Well, I mean, the whole thing with Kale, that just drove me nuts. But then afterwards with Dorian and all of them finally together and like that happy ending. They're like, it's finally over.
Mm-hmm.
That whole conversation between Kale and Dorian. Dorian's like, you never left me. I was like, fuck. I'm crying. I'm
Yep.
sobbing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was just it was a good ending, and it ended on a happy note or happy ending. So
Maybe for
I was
some, Kale
okay.
can't walk now.
Don't mention it. They're gonna fix him. They're gonna fix him. I have hope. Hope. That's what we need.
Yeah, in these books, good luck. Anyway.
There are really strong Game of Thrones vibes, because of, you know, Bren's in the wheelchair, and then she's the fire-breathing dragon, so it was like Game of Thrones in my face.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I tell people all the time. It's like a young adult Game of Thrones a little bit. That's what I tell people.
Yeah.
I really hope that they make this book into like some kind of a series, because it would be so cool to actually see it.
I want an animated show. I've been saying this for a while, like the Legend of Vox Machina animation, or even like the new Lara Croft.
Arcane?
Or I can see this art. I can see this in Arcane
like,
style. Yeah.
Like that art style. Oh,
I can see that. But yeah, something like that, because there's no way you can get this in a live action and get it all right.
Can you imagine they try to fit all of this into a movie? I'd be like, don't even. I'm not even going to see it.
It'd be like
No,
the
thanks.
fucking Marvel movies. Like, every second you look, there's a new one.
Yeah, no, that's when I would throw all this shit away. I'm telling you right now. That's where I would give up. The ending, I like the way this ending left off. I agree with Brie. It was, like, on a happier note. Like, this is one that you could just, in reality, like, if you wanted to, you could just stop here. And you wouldn't get the questions answered, but this was, like, one of those endings where it's like, okay, this is happy and fun, and some people can't walk, but, you know, we're good to stop here. That's that kind of thing. And I agree that it didn't, even though it jumped back and forth, it didn't feel out of place. It felt like it was all coming together, which is the purpose of this book, like I said before. But yeah, I liked it.
I agree with Megan and Brie as far as like going back and forth. I feel like this time where she left off to like switch between the characters made more sense. Whereas like last time, you'd be in the middle of something and all of a sudden she would switch and you're like, wait a second, why am I at some castle in Morath? Like, it didn't make any sense, but here I feel like it was more cohesive and easier to understand. Mm-hmm. It didn't bother me like it did the last time.
Yeah.
I will say I did like how the book ended, but I have a feeling the next book is going to start off super sad for some reason, because knowing her and her crazy writing, it's going to be something terrible. That's just my feeling.
What if I told you the whole next book is sad?
Great.
Great. That's good to know.
Maybe I'll just skip that book.
Oh no, you cannot.
I don't need to know what happened.
If you
It's
ever
okay.
skip this book, it's a crime against humanity.
Well, I don't really want to be sad, Megan.
That's too bad.
Especially during Christmas, okay?
No, you have to cry during Christmas. It's a prerequisite. Kimmy, go ahead.
Yeah, I enjoy the back and forth, because it kind of feeds each story to you a little. I like getting piece by piece. I like it. I think the ending was really amazing. Again, I will go back to saying the imagery. I can just imagine like everything happening, and like I've reread parts of like the story because I just wanted to envision it even deeper. There were some other really great scenes though throughout. I know like you guys were saying the beginning was kind of slow. I do agree with you, but there was like some really great scenes, like when she went to go rescue Aiden. I loved that dance, and when they were throwing the roses, and I can just imagine all of that and the chaos. And then the whole scene, the dinner scene with Arabin, even though it was cringy AF, like I think that was a really vital part of like her storyline. So yeah, the ending was amazing, but I really liked different parts throughout the story, and mainly because of the way she writes it. Oh, and the scene, I think I forgot about this, when the witches collided with Aelin and her group, like that was an amazing scene too. So
yeah, that's fair. Honestly, I forgot that scene happened in this book. I thought it was the next book. So that was me just forgetting things.
yeah, so yeah, I like the whole book. I know it was a little slower, but I think there were some really vital parts throughout that it kept it interesting for me anyway.
No, I agree with you, Kimmy. I like this book actually more than Air of Fire. Even if it was slow in the beginning, like I think her build up to part to Erebin and then part 2 of everything that's happening, I was like, that was a great transition. Like, I'm not even mad at it that it was slow.
Yeah. And you can't forget the scene where she let him use his lavender soap. I was crying at that point because I thought,
stop talking. I can't with that part. That part makes me cry every fucking time.
Yep. It was so emotional and
God.
so beautiful.
And when they go to the grave, oh, I lose it.
Oh, fuck. I was crying.
Oh, fuck.
I was crying. Once again, I was listening to that part in the car. That's what I said. I'm like sobbing in the car, and people are probably looking at me like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I was like, no.
That's why Rowan is number one man.
Yeah.
Love him.
Yeah. And the sensual tension throughout, like, I love that slow burn. It was very well written. I liked it.
You're on the slow burn train and Becca's on the fast burn. Like a wildfire. She needs something now.
I need the fire.
I mean, I like the slow burn, but it's like, damn, please something happen already.
Becca and I are hoes. We need it now.
Yeah, I
Well,
used to
then,
when I
go
when
read
I was
that
a
other
wee
book.
young reader.
What do you
Maybe
think? You're
because
a
I'm-
weak reader?
Wee young.
Oh,
So, like,
Yeah.
back when I first started romance, I enjoyed
She's
it. But
just
I
a
think
baby.
it's been-
I was just gonna say that. Like, I'm just jumping back into the scene, so I'm enjoying the slow burn of it.
That's fair. I like it sometimes. I won't knock it, totally.
It's because, like, the way she describes, and I know you guys were saying about the whole scent thing, how it was driving you
pine
crazy.
and snow.
Honestly,
I love it because that's my favorite smell!
it gave me a better, like, I guess, image of everything going on. I think it made the connection stronger for me with the scents. Like, I don't know. I get it.
And she said he smelled like Terracin, like home. I was like, oh my god, just kill me.
Like home.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
When you
I just
call
wanna talk
my
about-
name. Sorry.
The romances, because I actually really was not. I'm actually not a big fan of like Aelin and Rowan together.
Alright,
Like,
so we're
That's
gonna end
surprising.
tonight, I think.
I'm okay
Everybody
with them
have a good
together.
night. No.
I don't care, but it's like I feel like I'm more of like it needs to be romantic. Like so far they're just breathing in each other, and that's all I'm getting from this book. Like I love that like her and Kale would like train every morning, and then he was like dance with me. Like I need more of that romantic vibe to it, not this primal.
Oh, please,
action.
Brie.
It's driving me nuts.
You were
I
fine
can't-
with the primal and Akatar.
Akatar,
they
it's
talk
different.
to
It's
each
very
other.
romantic in Akatar, actually. Very romantic in
But I
Akatar.
like their bantering. Their bantering is really good.
I love that they can talk telepathically to each other. That to me is romantic.
Okay, so wait, I wanted to bring that up. So let's go into theories and questions, 'cause I want to bring this up. Actually, it's not a theory or question, it's a clarification. So, they actually aren't speaking in their heads. So,
Oh,
I
Says
know.
who?
giving each other. They're just
Says
giving
the
each other's
book.
looks.
Yeah, just
They're-
we're just looking at each other.
There are, like Kimmy said, that like there are points in this book where it literally says, like, mind speaking. Like how in Akatar when they could do that, Brie and Becca, where it's just like, it's line per line per line, so you know that's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
This was like, and I gave him a look,
Way
as
to ruin
if
the
as
book
if I
again.
said, what, Akatar? Okay, please.
I'm not talking about Akatar. I'm talking about Rowan.
Oh yeah, I've ruined Kimmy's hopes and
Aelin.
dreams. Yeah.
Yeah. There goes the romance for me. Oh, I don't want this primal shit.
I did really think that that's what was happening the first time around, but then when I looked into it, I was like, oh, okay. Like, it's almost just like when you give your significant other a look, like the I want to leave this party look, like, and they know what you're saying, like, that's what she's insinuating it as.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
didn't
know,
take
I
that
know.
Them reading each other's minds, because it was never
Reading this book.
said.
Chrissy's like, I'm gonna throw it out.
What a match to my Kindle.
Oh, you like Akatar, though.
I mean,
I like
she's
it so
already
much
hooked.
that I'm halfway through the first book already in one day.
Okay, so I'm only doing like one tab per book at this point because she does throw in those little Easter eggs every now and then. I only have one, so it's on page, for me it's 575, so it's very much towards the end. This is mainly for Becca and Bree, but since you guys are starting ACOTAR, you can just think about this a little bit. So this is where my favorite part of the book happens, where Aelin and Dorian hold hands and they release that power. It's in the third paragraph, and it says, let's see. But they held tighter to each other, past and present and future, flickering between an ancient hall and a mountain castle perched above Orianth, a bridge suspended between glass towers, and another place, perfect and strange, where they had been crafted from stardust and light. So that's all I'll say for that. I did not notice that the first time reading it. Again, just like all the other ones I've done. This is the first time I noticed it. Like, one of those, like, oh, shit moments. That one I think I'm digging a little deeper in, too. But it's worth noting that she doesn't really use the Stardust term loosely in these books. I feel like she uses it for a purpose. But yeah, the floor is open to anybody but me who has theories or questions or clarifications and yada yada yada.
All right. Altaine and Elide? Is that how we're saying it? Okay. Elide.
Yep.
How they mentioned, I think, 2 or 3 times that they resembled like sisters, and what she did for her was such an act of amazingness, but like selflessness, and like to have her switch her robe and then have her get away. Is something gonna happen from that?
Oh, I did want to say one thing. Sorry, I don't mean to like cut you off at all.
You're good.
This is another I'll be delicate with the wording here. This is another fan theory out there that I see quite often, where she says, like, she's obsessed with it. She has a robe on, right? Like, she's just always wearing a robe. Her last nod to Aelin is tell her that, you know, I'm grateful for the robe kind of thing. A lot of people think that this character is in ACOTAR as something else. Oh, I can hear the gears in your head.
Mine aren't turning.
I hear that too. It's not a person, it's a thing.
Stay with the so-and-so.
Thanks, Brie.
Becca.
She's thinking.
I might text you guys on the side once we're done.
Drinks the tea.
The
tea.
Oh, okay. Yes, I see it. I get it.
So that is a fan theory out there. I feel like it's a little, I don't know how I feel about it. Would be very interesting though.
That's a good theory. We never know what it truly is.
Yeah, we'll never know. I think it's just something. It would be interesting if that was the case.
Yeah.
But anyway, go on, Kimmy. I know you have more. Just by knowing you have more.
No, so I mean, obviously, Elide. Sorry, how do you say it?
Elide, like Elide. Yeah.
Elide. Okay, because IDE would say I, but okay, Elide.
Yeah.
So obviously she's going to try to get to Terrasen. She's trying to find, Aelin, Selena. But something, I feel like she has some type of power. Maybe Caltaine's power is also in her. And because they said they resemble like sisters. So maybe she'll see that she has the Shadow Fire and she can be an asset to Aelin. Aelin. That's what I'm thinking. That theory.
It's a good one.
That's a good theory. Yeah, I wasn't thinking about that.
And then on page 450, they're talking about when the magic went away, and I forget who said it, but someone said, I would bet any survivors are stuck in their animal forms, and that brings me back to my baby Abraxos. And I still think something is going to happen with Abraxos, and just because there was another part where they said the king made those demons for the witches to ride, but Abraxos was a kinder, gentler soul. So, still think something's going on there.
Still holding out hope.
I am. I am. Anybody else can go. I'm going to keep looking at my list.
I have a very far-fetched theory that is completely baseless.
Go on.
So we get a couple mentions of both Adian and Aelin mentioning the little folk, the little people. So I'm just not sure if anyone else has noticed that they're helpful and that they're guiding. I'm just like curious if that's like Terrason's roots coming into like where magic isn't allowed anymore, and even like how Manon was mentioning that she felt that wind from like her ancestors, and that wind could have been there all along and she just couldn't feel it because magic was subdued. I was just curious. I was like, they mentioned little people a couple times now, and we haven't really gotten much out of it. They just seem like this force that just like is with them throughout these last couple books. Oh, I'm curious to see if we get to know more about that. I mean, it's very minor. It's like has no plot point whatsoever. But I'm just curious to see if the little people get any more explanation.
I can honestly say I don't remember.
Okay, then probably no, because you don't remember probably.
No, I mean, like, there's a lot of info, not info dump, but there's a lot of still information we're gonna get. So I honestly don't remember anything about that. I could be wrong.
I guess we'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
Becca, are you referencing like the whispering that Elaid was having, like that was speaking to her?
No, these were like the
No.
little folk that left out like food in the forest, in the oak-walled forest for Aelin.
But Bree, what I think you're thinking of is I think that's her Blackbeak blood talking to her, because that's what Asterin asked her, have you ever felt the wind talking to you? And then that's what Manon was saying, that like when she flies it was quiet and she didn't feel like wild and free, but when magic was opened she started hearing and feeling the wind again. And I think also with all of that, like I think Elaid's like trying to like feel both her sides, like her witch blood and her fae blood, but the little people, like what Megan was saying, are like an actual, I don't know, like a physical thing, I guess.
Yeah, they're like
Like the real-
little, like the legitimate like little fairies you would see in movies. That like those little tiny things. That's what those are. Like it's basically the myth for them was if you leave out something that they want, they're gonna help you in return. So like they'll leave out like food for you or show you the way of where you need to go or something like that.
Right, so like Terrason being of Snow and Pine, the Staghorns, I was like, is this something like the forest helping Adian and Aelin? Because they both mentioned it, that it helped them. Like Adian mentioned it when he was in the north with his war camps, and then Aelin mentioned it when she was traveling with Rowan.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Anyway, again, far-fetched, baseless.
No, we'll see.
I'm wondering if Evangeline, the little girl, I wonder what she's going to bring to in the next books, if she's going to somehow learn to do something helpful to help them in the war that's to come, because now she's part of the posse, so feel like she's going to be mentioned again, and hopefully she gets some kind of duty, privilege, or power to help, because she was mentioned a lot in the book.
Yeah, for sure.
So the word key that opens any door or portal, that's a mysterious thing. And I wonder. This is me just starting to come up with a theory as I'm talking, but I hope it gets to Aelin, and I don't know what she'll be able to open or how it will help them, but it seems very powerful, and I think that's going to be a game changer to have them have the upper hand if it gets to her.
For sure. Those word keys and word keys are not to be fucked with.
My theory for the next book is it will actually make me cry.
Oh
So-
no, it will. The
I haven't
ending
cried
leaves
yet.
me in like
Oh, you didn't even cry with
shatters.
Sam?
No, I didn't cry with Sam. I was very close. I actually took a video and I didn't want to send it out last night.
Wow.
Because Kimmy, I know that you and Bree were finishing it, so I didn't want to ruin it for you. The only thing that made me close to crying was the bromance between Dorian and Kale.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't leave me, you never left me. That had me close.
Mhm.
But still, that was the only thing that got me close this whole series.
So I'm gonna give you guys homework for the next book. I want everybody to take a video of when they cry, and then they need to tell me when it happened.
I'll
'Cause
send. I took it thinking I was gonna cry.
No,
so I
it's
will
got to be the
definitely
next
do that.
book. It's got to be the next book because the next book makes me cry thinking about it. So you're going to read it, and you're going to be in fucking like you're gonna be destroyed.
I'm excited.
Woo!
Like even ask Nick. Like the ending to that book, he was like, "Damn, that was hard." So.
Right, let's
I'm
go
not
rattle
ready.
the stores.
Oh God.
Joke's
yeah.
on you. I'm not reading
I'm already
it.
not okay.
Christy's like, I'm done. All right. Any other theories or questions or anything out there?
Can I say one of my favorite lines?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it was after they found Arabin dead, and the guy came no. And the guy came to talk about his will and how everything was left to Aelin, and how Clarice started getting like snippy, and then oh god, where is it? I want to say it correctly, but she was like, fuck, where is it? Now I lost it. Okay, never mind.
Oh no, you got it. You got it.
I know. Oh, did I ask for your goddamn opinion, Clarice? And I was just dying. Clarice.
Clarice. That's me every day at work. Did I ask for your goddamn opinion?
Yeah, that was amazing. And of course, when she's talking about Aiden and Rowan having their Fey bastard territorial fights, that just always made me laugh every time. She's like, I don't need your territorial Fey bullshit.
That's literally what it is.
Yep.
My advice for the next book is to cry, but also make sure you have your little annotations and notes. And I know that Bree writes on hers, Kimmy takes her separate notes. So however you do it, make sure you pay attention, I guess is all I could say.
No.
Except for you, because you're not reading the book.
Chrissy's gonna pay
Chrissy.
attention to trying not to cry.
Yeah.
the whole
Chrissy's gonna pay attention to nothing because I'm not gonna read it.
time. You are.
Sad.
I don't want to cry, especially around Christmas.
That's really all you're worried about. Let's just go to January then so you can cry in 2025.
I'd rather cry in the new year than cry at
All right,
Christmas.
then let's do that so you don't have to cry in December of 2024.
No, you know, obviously I'm gonna freaking start it, but now I'm gonna start this book and it's gonna be around my birthday, Christmas.
Oh God,
I'm
just
gonna be
ruining it
depressed.
all. Yeah, just ruining it all. I mean, it doesn't. You're not gonna cry. You're gonna know when you're gonna cry. Like towards the end, you'll have a feeling. It really is towards the end. I promise. It's not.
I had a feeling when Kale supposedly died, but you know,
Oh, he
that
just
didn't
can't
happen.
fucking walk. He's fine.
Stop.
That shit killed me. I was like, what the hell? He's dead? And then all of a sudden, no, I just tortured. Can't.
Yeah, no, he's just Lieutenant Dan for a while.
Lieutenant Dan.
uh,
Damn.
okay. Does anybody else have anything to add before we end this?
R.I.P. Roland. He just died randomly
Oh, fuck that
in
guy.
the middle
He
of the
deserved it.
Yeah. Who? What was his name again? Exactly.
What are they selling?
What are they selling?
Chocolates.
Chocolate.
notable I don't know,
Honorary members.
favorite honorary or notable mention. Nezrin was also really good. She's probably one of my top characters as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
she was a G.
Yeah, I
She
love
was
her.
a badass.
Philippe.
I love that she's
Miss
like the
Seaver.
sharpshooter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
When
cool.
she shot that arrow that was going for Lysandra, I literally was like pumping my fist. I was like, "That's my girl!"
Yep.
Shot an arrow with another arrow.
I could totally just see her being a badass on like the roof with the wind blowing in her hair with her like bow out, and I was like, yeah.
She's the Middle Eastern Katniss Everdeen.
Yep,
Yeah.
that was one more thing. Her inky hair, her inky hair. I was like, I fucking get it.
I love her.
Another heartstring when Rowan was caring for Evangeline. I was like, oh my god, I love you, Rowan.
Why can't that be me?
I was like, god damn you, you're being so kind and caring to this little girl. Love it.
Yep. Okay. If we're good, then we're gonna end this. Okay. That was Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. And this was the squad just yapping about it. So, yeah. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.